Hi, welcome to today's video. On this channel, I aim to educate and give informed opinions, but I also aim to entertain. I have no idea if I'm actually funny or not.
My joke wasn't funny.
I'm probably not making a fortune as a stand-up comic anytime soon, but I like to think I have a sense of humor. So for today's video, I found a bunch of letters to newspaper editors that range from being profound to ridiculous to just downright funny. Let's get into it. Move the deer crossing to where there's less traffic. A lot of deer get hit by cars west of Crown Point on US 231. There are too many cars to have the deer crossing here. The deer crossing sign needs to be moved to a road with less traffic. Because the deer can read the sign, they understand what the sign means, and yeah, it is really bad to have the sign in a place where all the cars are, because if you move the sign, the deer will know. They will know that they can only cross the road where the sign is. Do you think this is serious though, or do you think this letter was written as a joke? I sometimes wonder about these things. It just seems too ridiculous to be real. To the editor, please print this letter so that when my patients Google me, they will see that their psychiatrist and psychoanalyst has been published in the New York Times. Oh my gosh, and they printed it. So this guy can actually say truthfully that he was published in the New York Times. I should try that. Maybe I should write letters to a bunch of editors and then I can just tell people, I've been published in this newspaper and that newspaper, and not a bad strategy. Playing football like a girl. That title alone is enough to trigger me. Am I going to get mad? I watched the England-Germany women's football on TV. Why was it screened? Women can't play football. They don't even know the basic rules. This is not starting off well. When tackled, they get up and play on. They don't pretend to be hurt. They don't dive. They don't get opponents sent off. They don't wrestle at corner kicks. Worst of all, they don't hassle the match officials. As any fool who has watched the men's premiership knows, that is not the way to play football. That is funny. It's true though, soccer players are the biggest lot of drama queens. This letter definitely did not take the turn that I thought it was going to take, so this is good. Sick to death of pleas for tigers. Why is it that I have to face a gauntlet of excitable young people imploring me to save the tiger every time I walk along Northumberland Street? I find their continual badgering irksome and painful. Do they not understand the damage these creatures can inflict upon a human being? If they had, as I did, witnessed a tiger drench their 6-year-old cousin with a torrent of streaming acid urine at Knaresborough Zoo in 1971, then maybe they'd turn their attention to pandas. I thought Mr. Drayton was going to say that he had witnessed a tiger eat someone, and I was thinking, my gosh, that would be a traumatic thing to have to see, but I guess watching a tiger pee on a 6-year-old is pretty traumatic as well, so. But you never know what the peeing habits of pandas are, so I don't know if that would necessarily be any better. Seriously though, we need to save the tigers. They are seriously endangered. Metal lesson. Bullet for My Valentine are not metal and never will be. The closest genre that fits them is post-hardcore, along with such atrocities on the human ear such as Black Veil Brides. You have overstepped the mark, and the fiery rage of 10,000 furious suns shall be wreaked upon thee. I would also like to correct the use of heavy metal. It means any metal from hafnium to Capernaum, or traditional metal such as Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath. Anything else deemed metal fits into a certain subgenre. Well, Sam has a very strong opinion about this particular topic, and they seem to be quite angry about it. So, I guess if you're passionate about something, you're passionate about something. I write fabulous letters. If you read all the letters I have written, you would agree. You would love them. Other letter writers are weak, soft, and out of touch. I'm not like that. And I'm sure if you are reading this, you aren't either. This paper really needs great letters, and I am awesome at letter writing. Other letter writers might attack me, but then they go away. They don't have what it takes to keep writing great letters. I have what it takes to write the best letters. Letter writers who disagree need to be punched in the face and run out of town. I guarantee this letter will be picked as Letter of the Month. If it isn't picked, it will prove that this letter writing contest is rigged. He actually got letter of the month. I mean, he makes a point. The letter is structured well enough. Good on him. Good for him. I admire this have-a-go attitude. Goose Not Welcome. Okay, this is a bit of a long one, but I have a feeling it might be worth it. The world has gone mad again. I went to Tawa Pool one morning recently to watch our local swimming sports. I took with me a 6-day-old goose in a cat cage and seated myself on the mezzanine floor. A few minutes later, a pool manager told me that the goose had to go. He posed a health and safety risk. I pointed to the goose, small enough to sit in my hand, and said he had to be joking. How could he pose a risk? I explained that he went nuts if left alone. He definitely wasn't going to go nuts beside me. Ah, but it's policy, was the reply. I tried to point out that with a bit of imagination and flexibility, a blind eye could be turned to him. I'd even cover him up. The matter escalated to the big boss, but the robotic statement stayed the same. It's policy. Something could happen. Honestly, when people act like robots, it's very frustrating. Of course, in most cases, rules, policies, or whatever they're called should be stuck to, but I find it sad when people don't have the ability to make their own practical judgments. The final word was that it could set a precedent. In other words, people might see him and think it was okay to bring their pet geese to Tawa Pool. Beware, you geese owners. You will have to find somewhere else to do your gosling training classes. Okay, so I have a question. How many people have pet geese? My grandfather, my dad's dad, lived in this house by the sea, and he had geese in his backyard. They were mean as Oh my gosh, I was terrified of them. I mean, I'm not too sure whose side to take on this one because, on the one hand, you can't set a precedent and have people starting to bring their geese to the pool. But on the other hand, this goose is how old? 6 days old. This goose is 6 days old. What's it going to do? Open letter to the manager of Morrisons in High Wycombe. I visited your supermarket last weekend in order to complete my weekly shop and referred to the useful overhead signs to locate the required groceries on my shopping list, i.e. eggs, bread, etc. The last item on my list was a packet of chocolate hobnob biscuits. After searching the overhead signs, I failed to find an appropriate one to assist me in locating the said hobnobs. I then spent a not inconsiderable amount of time frantically searching the aisles and finally found a packet. With delight, I placed them into my basket. I then noticed the sign above which stated cookies. Bearing in mind that the High Wycombe supermarket is actually in Great Britain and not the United States of America, could you please explain why Morrisons have felt it necessary to bastardize the English language in this way?
Why, God, why?
I look forward to your reply. See, for me, the issue is not the fact that the sign said cookies instead of biscuits. To me, the issue is that if you have shopped at this place regularly, you should kind of know where everything is. I actually write my shopping lists according to where I will find things in the grocery store. And you know what? I went shopping over the weekend. I went to get a few groceries. I was looking for bacon. I could not find the bacon. I'm looking all over the store. It's not in the bunkers where it usually is. Eventually, I found it in some random corner of the store. And I'm like, okay, so grocery stores are saying to people, you know what, we're in a pandemic. When you come into the store, have your list ready, get what you need, and leave as fast as you can. But then the grocery stores are also, in the middle of a pandemic, rearranging their aisles so no one can find anything. What's the logic behind that? I'm glad John Ford found his hobnob biscuits. I know what it's like to go shopping and have my heart set on getting a particular thing and then to not find it. And I know what it's like. It's disorienting, it's disappointing, it can wreck your entire week. Editor, I am thinking about converting from agnosticism to Christianity, but I have a question. Am I to understand that as a Christian I can deny basic humanitarian assistance to penniless, homeless refugees from the Middle East, the same part of the world that Jesus called home, as long as I demonstrate proper outrage because Starbucks seasonal coffee cup isn't Christmassy enough? That is such a burn. He's not wrong, and I am not going to say anything more about that. My gran told me that if I fart and sneeze at the same time, I'll do a backflip. Is this true? And they responded. Oh my gosh, they actually responded. Have you ever farted and sneezed at the same time? Write and tell us what happened. Mark your envelope. I farted and sneezed at the same time, and here's what happened. I do not believe I have ever farted and sneezed at the same time. And if I did, I am pretty sure all that would happen is that I would hurt my back. If you farted and sneezed at the same time, leave me a comment. Let's get some farting and sneezing stories on the go. If I get enough responses, maybe I'll make a video out of them. My husband used to love the taste of blue cheese, but after suffering a bang on the head one day, he could no longer taste it. In fact, he couldn't taste anything as it was a falling piano that hit his head and it killed him instantly. That's dark. Condolences. May he rest in eternal peace. Although I don't know how peaceful you would be if you died by being hit on the head with a falling piano. Didn't that happen to Kenny in South Park once? I'm pretty sure one of his deaths was from a falling piano.
Look out! Oops.
I think it is just terrible and disgusting how everyone has treated Lance Armstrong, especially after what he achieved winning 7 Tour de France races while competing on drugs. When I was on drugs, I couldn't even find my bike. That is so hilarious.
My fuck, Marlies.
Don't really know what you can say about that one. Sir, is it fair that single people should have to pay as much for water as married people who have the advantage of no longer needing to wash themselves? Eh? Married people don't have to wash themselves? So all of these showers that I've taken over the last 10 years since I got married have been not needed? I'm sick of sports commentators saying you couldn't write a script like this. If people can write scripts about dystopian futures in which life is in fact a simulation made by sentient machines to harness humans' heat and electricity as an energy source, they can probably write ones about Gary Taylor Fletcher scoring a last-minute equalizer against Stoke. Fair enough. Of course, we know the commentators are just saying this to be dramatic, but, you know, Joey is not wrong. Oops, sorry. May I use this page to apologize? On Thursday, June 5th at 5:30 p.m. in Morrisons car park, I caused considerable alarm to a lady driver sitting in a car a bit like ours. You know what? I drive a black minivan, and it feels like 90% of Toronto drives a black minivan. And I have at times approached the wrong car, and I have seen people approaching my car by mistake. I wonder if this is the same guy who struggled to find hobnob biscuits, because that was also a Morrisons story. You never know. Maybe he bought the hobnobs, walked out of the store, and was so excited about having the hobnobs that he went to the wrong car. I don't really get why everyone is making fun of North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un's hairstyle. Okay, so it's a bit much making every other man in the country get the same style, but at least it's smart and practical, which is more than can be said of some of the people running this country. You know, some of these people who have held high public office, like, you know, the dude from England and the dude from America and the dude from North Korea, they have permanent bad hair days. And if I had a bad hair day every single day, maybe I'd do stupid, reckless shit as well. You know, you never know. I mean, my hair is not fantastic, but at least I can make it look okay. I can make it look presentable. We're going to do one more. My internet went down for about 5 minutes the other day, so I headed downstairs and spoke to my family. They seemed like nice people. You know, when my internet goes down, it's instant chaos in my house. Especially now during the pandemic when both of the kids need the internet for their school. And I need it for my work, my husband needs it for his work. And, you know, when the internet stops, it's kind of like being in suspended animation. I feel for John. I'm glad it was only for 5 minutes. And I'm glad he found out that his family are nice. It's very convenient when you are forced by circumstance to talk to your family and it turns out that you actually like them. That works out for the best. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any letters to editors to share, leave me a comment. If you have anything funny or ridiculous to share, leave me a comment. It could be a meme, a letter, a ridiculous instruction label. We all need laughs, so if you have some to share, I'd love to see it. You can connect with me on my social media channels, which should be either here or here. I can't tell my left from my right on camera. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.